everyone. Welcome to the episode number 35 of QnA series with Suresh GP. Today, we are going to continue from our previous episode of 34, where we talked about security by design principles, part 2. So if you have not listened to part 1, I would recommend you to go to episode number 34 and watch the security by design principles part 1. So now, in the security by design part 2, we are going to look at the principles from 6 to 10 that are applicable when you are trying to design new systems. Is don't trust services, or a principle of zero trust. Many web applications uses third-party services for accessing additional functionality or obtaining additional data. The principle states that you should never trust these from a security perspective, because you need to have that check and balance, validation, whether it's still relevant, and trying to make sure that you don't give any high-level permissions within the app. Number 7, separation of duties. Separation of duties can be used to prevent individuals from acting fraudulently. So for example, if you have an e-commerce website user, they should never be promoted as an administrator, so that they might alter the orders or make some changes to the product themselves. Similarly, if you are an administrator, you should not have access to do what a normal end user or a customer is supposed to do. So that way, there is a clear segregation of separation of duties. Number 8, avoid security by obscurity. The OWASP principle states that security by obscurity should never be relied upon. That means if your application requires its administrative URL to be hidden so that it can remain secure, then it is not secure at all. So there should be sufficient amount of security controls in place to keep your application safe without hiding the core functionality or source code. Number 9, keep security simple. As developers, when we use to build applications, we should avoid the use of sophisticated architecture when developing security controls for your applications. So that way, if it's going to be very complex, it is going to increase the risk of errors. So ensure to keep the security aspects very simple. Number 10, fix security issues correctly. If a security issue has been identified in an application, developers should determine the root cause of the problem. I've seen in many instances, people do local optimization that causes global degradation. So whenever you have an issue that has been reported, ensure that you look at it holistically, be it the design patterns or looking at a systematic approach to ensure that you are fixing it once for all and this problem does not reoccur. So these 10 principles, the security by design principles part 1 and security by design principles part 2 will have to be taken into due consideration whenever we are designing new systems. At the end of the day, when you are prepared well to roll out these features in an appropriately and secured manner, you are ensuring a lot more assurance and trust with your customers, with your business partners, and within your own organizations in designing, building, and rolling out applications. I hope that this episode of Q&A series was useful for you to understand the 5 more principles of security by design that you can utilize it at your workplace and get benefited. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Q&A series. We look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Until then, stay safe and keep watching and enter your comments if you want me to take up further questions in our next episode. Thank you very much.